Hi Angels, thanks so much for joining us the other morning actually. It was your nighttime, our morning. We loved showing you around and letting you have a virtual taste of our wines. And Laura sent us through some fantastic questions that you've all asked, so we thought we'd jump on and have a crack at answering them.
Righto guys, so the Angels would like to know if you have to clean and sanitise all your equipment before your next batch of grapes are fermented.
Oh my god, we spend so much time cleaning. What do you reckon, Nina? Could it be
70 to 80% of the time. You see us doing this fun stuff with the wine and getting dirty, and it's so tactile and just an amazingly great experience making wine.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time is actually spent preparing and cleaning so that we have safe, sanitary.
But should say that wine's actually a remarkably safe food, so we don't have to be sterile like with milk or with a Vietnamese pork roll. And in medieval times they would, I think, mix wine with water to go some way to sanitising or making dodgy water drinkable.
Safe.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The Angels would also like to know how you guys come up with different tasting wines.
Well, that's a good one. It's a long answer. We could
Yeah,
probably
big
wax
question.
lyrical about it for about 4 hours, but
Yeah.
we'll probably start with the fact that it all happens in the vineyard. John, my husband, who looks after the vineyard, is standing in the corner, and he would agree strongly with that.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting one because it kind of works both directions. So we have fruit come out of the vineyard, and it's expressive and it sort of guides the way we make it. But at the same time, we get really great feedback, especially from you guys, and it's so direct, what you say, what you like. And so each vintage, that kind of influences what we do.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
I reckon it is that combination of what we think people will enjoy drinking and actually what we like making and also what nature gives us.
Yeah.
So, say we're trying to make a wine that will live a long time, we might work a bit differently in the vineyard to get a small crop, say a Cabernet with thick skin so it's got lots of tannin to live a long time. We might work it more aggressively to mix up the skins with the wine, again to extract more tannin for this, if we're setting out to make a long-lived wine. But maybe people don't like it too bitter and grippy, so we need to also be mindful of what people will enjoy.
Exactly.
On the theme of grapes and vineyards, how does the taste of grapes relate to the taste of wine?
That's a good one. Do you want
Yeah.
to take that one first?
Yeah, well, I'm going to say most of the time, not so much. And actually, Felix, who's our cameraman, he was saying a reminder of grapes, they're full of sugar, so they're really sweet and delicious. And of
Yeah.
course, wine's dry, and so you haven't got that sweet flavour or that sweetness. I think reds, there's not a strong connection between the flavour of the grape and the wine, but maybe some whites.
Yeah, definitely. Sauvignon Blanc, I worked in New Zealand for a long time, and it was just fascinating how the grapes from different vineyards would already have that expressive New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc character, but also different soil types influence the flavour of the grape, and you definitely saw a direct correlation to that in the wine. And probably the same, Aviogno is always really floral and fruity and almost apricotty and caramelised, so even in the vineyard. So it's definitely a varying degree of influence.
And there'd be one or two varieties, maybe muskets, where the grape really tastes strongly, or the wine tastes strongly of the grape.
But when we're tasting the grapes, so I'll just add one more thing. We're often we're looking for more specific things, so we chew up the seeds to see that they're nice and biscuity and crunchy rather than green and astringent. So there's lots of things that we're tasting in the vineyard that aren't actually things like, oh, I can taste cassis in the Cabernet. It's more about the feeling and the structure and the chemistry of the grapes.
Another question we've got is Angels would like to know how long it takes from picking grapes until they go into bottle.
So, some wines, if we had nothing else to do, something like a Sauvignon Blanc, it would be possible to have it in the bottle maybe 8 or 10 weeks from the day it was picked. But you'd need to be able to give lots of attention just to that one parcel, and then plenty of reds. They need time in a barrel, a maturation phase to the wood lets a tiny bit of oxygen pass into the wine, so bitter tannins can change shape and feel softer. Some wines could be a short time. Some wines really need a long time. What do you reckon, Neil?
Yeah, that's about right. And then it just depends on what style, again, back to the first question, what style you're after. So if you're really wanting a beautiful, vibrant, fresh Shiraz compared to like a really aged, structural, tannic style, you would maybe leave the second version in the barrel for 18 months, whereas the first one we might pull out at 10 months. But we're tasting constantly to see what style we're after, and that influences the time it takes to get to bottle and all the way to you.
Just on style, we've got one angel who'd like to know what the perfect partner for the Ripasare is in terms of food.
So it's a big, rich wine. It's got masses of tannin, but they're not particularly, they're not bitter tannins. So, and also there's often a tiny bit of sugar there. So it sounds a bit strange, but I think you could enjoy it as a drink while you're cooking, some kind of a pre-dinner drink. Be good with any red meat, and actually the masses of tannin, a hard cheese, a salty cheese. That'd be a treat. Yeah.
Delicious.
Another one for you, Sam. One angel would like to know if you've gone for your solar powered plant yet.
We have, yeah. So, we've got a 99.85 kilowatt solar system. We generate about 140,000 kilowatt hours of electricity a year, and that's almost, or we use a little bit more than that, so we're buying electricity off the grid, and of course we're buying electricity off the grid when the sun's not shining. But a beautiful sunny day like today, we're pumping electricity back into the grid. Should say too, wineries are a great fit for solar. So this time of year we're busiest, it's warm and sunny, we're running refrigeration plants. So at the time when we're using most electricity, it's when the sun is giving us most electricity. And sorry, I'm making this answer way too long, but there's also a really cool business model. So our power bill was running at about $50,000 a year. We put the solar system up, and too much information, but it cost about $70,000, and our power bills dropped to about $25,000 a year. So awesome that it'll pay itself off in about 3 years.
And give back to the planet.
And give back to the planet, yeah.
So we can see you guys using a basket press today. Pretty topical question then. So what do you guys do with the skins once you're done with them?
Great question.
Yeah.
Mostly ours go back to the cattle, depending on what stage they're at. So if they're just whites that have been pressed, they don't have any alcohol in them, so we can just give them straight to the cattle. If they've been fermented like this, we can still feed them to the cattle. We feed them in dribs and drabs so that they don't have too much of a party in the paddock, and otherwise we compost them. But
Yeah.
same as-
Yeah, pretty similar. So my brother Matt, he's a farmer, a sheep farmer, and actually he's got a tip truck that lives at the winery, so we put all the skins in that, and it goes back up to the farm as sheep feed.
One day we're going to get a still, though, aren't we? I'm
I'd
just
love
dropping
to.
you something now. I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
a still so we can make some grappa. I love the grappa in Italy, so
Yeah.
one day.
And last question, and I reckon a pretty good one to end on as well. What kind of volumes are we talking about that angels buy, and how vital are angels to your business?
So angels, you are hugely important in my world. So look, probably 80 or 90% of what we make is with you guys and for you guys, and huge thing for my family, and also the growers we work with, and the crew, the people we employ. You fund a lot of mortgages. Thank you.
And similar ratio for us. We started making just 200 or 300 cases on the side of our day job. So John's a cattle farmer, and I make wine for other companies. And this was just a bit of a project, a bit of fun. And then Naked Wines came along, and now the project's turned from a little side hustle to about 80 or 90% of what I do as well. So it's amazing growth to our business, and it's meant we could do it without a huge capital investment that we wouldn't have been able to scrounge together. So it's all thanks to you guys that we're able to keep doing what we love.
Yeah, and actually a snippet more. We are a small winery, but we're a small winery that this year for the first time has just cracked 1,000 tonnes. So anyway, we've crushed 1,000 tonnes, and
Cheers to that. Where's that?
yeah, cha-ching.
That's it from us. So thanks again for joining us the other night, and yeah, keep the amazing feedback coming. It really keeps us going at this time of year when we're getting a bit tired.
Yeah, it's awesome. Thanks, guys.
See ya.